Hey everyone, welcome back to the IHC Craft Room. I'm so excited to get into our gingerbread week. I'm super pumped. It's going to be fun and we're going to do all kinds of fun stuff. So tonight we're going to be dot painting this super cute gingerbread woman, girly, chick, lady, onto this tree trunk slice from Dollarama. So I'm really excited. If you would like to dot along with me today, I have created a downloadable of this image so that you can print it out and dot along. It is available in the description of this video. So please grab your stuff and we're going to get started. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to paint the base on this piece of wood, this tree trunk slice that was $2 at Dollarama. They do sell it in a couple of different sizes, but this is my favorite. And I'm going to be using some black chalk paint that I picked up at Dollarama. No, I did not pick this up at Dollarama. What am I talking about? I bought this at Walmart, actually. But it doesn't really matter where you buy it from. The reason I use chalk paint is because I find that it covers and kind of like levels out all of the nooks and crannies of the wood. So I actually am just going to paint really close to the edge. I want to see a bit of the wood. I have a hair stuck in my nail. Yeah, so I like chalk paint for wood surfaces because it kind of fills in those rough crevices and gives you a smoother surface to dot on. It lets your paint grab on better. So whenever possible, if I'm using wood, I will paint the base coat in chalk paint. But if you've got acrylic and no chalk paint, you're fine. It's not that deep. So today we're going to be doing a method that I really love doing in order to get these really cool shapes and these really cool images, which is a chalk transfer method. I've been using it since I was a little girl. It's basically the only way I can draw, which is not at all. I'm just tracing. And it's an excellent way to get it's not going to be exactly the same as the image that you have, but it'll be pretty close. It'll be pretty close. And you can really enjoy the process of fleshing out something that you probably can't draw freehand. I mean, I can't. I don't know if you can. Even just doing this freehand is a bit of a challenge for me. Like, let's be real. Now, tonight, I'm going to be using my dotting tools, but I will show you some alternative options. You don't need dotting tools to dot paint. I would recommend you get them if you think you're going to do some dot painting, because it's a lot easier to get like a really good array of sizes of dots. But you can do that with stuff from your home as well. I have lots of videos on my channel where I use household items to dot paint. It's completely doable. I'm having a bit of a spaz over here. Okay, that'll do. So because this is chalk paint, one coat will be plenty. I would recommend, if you have the time, when you paint a base coat, it is in your best interest to do a coat of varnish. So I always use my favorite brand. I'll show you it as soon as I'm done painting this. I don't want this to dry on me while I'm doing it. Beautiful. Chalk paint dries very quickly. So in theory, we could kill a little bit of time chatting right now and probably be able to dot paint on this, within a few reasonable minutes, but I'm not going to do that. So this is the base coat, the varnish that I tend to lean towards. I'm almost always using Liquitex. It's my preferred brand, but really any varnish will do. All we're trying to do is protect the base coat so that if we make a mistake, which I often do when I'm dot painting, it's easier to clean it off without losing a bit of your base coat. I've done that more than once in the past, so you know. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and let this dry and put a couple of coats of thin coats of varnish, and voila! Look, it's done. Ha-ha. Yeah, I got this ready earlier, so we can get the party started over here. So what you're gonna need for this transfer method is a chalk pencil, whatever you want to trace onto your surface, and something to put pressure on it. So I'm going to show you how this is going to work. Basically, I'm going to cut around my friend here. And again, if you'd like to dot along, this downloadable is available in the description. Okay. So we're going to cut around her to get close to a good sense of what the size is so that we can find the center. Now, you can find the center of this using a ruler. Highly recommend. I am not a find the center kind of girl. I'm an eyeball it and hope for the best kind of girl. So I'm going to actually just lay it down when I'm ready. Cool, right? It's so cute. Okay, so what we're going to do in order to transfer this is I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to color it with my chalk pencil. Then we'll flip it back over, lay it into the perfect spot, and then I'm going to be using one of my dotting tools, one that's not super, super thin, but not super thick. That one's too thick. Maybe this one. Let me just pick them all up one by one, and then I'll eventually, okay, this one. And I'm going to outline everything with moderate to hard pressure. I mean, I'm a bit excessive with the pressure. And what's going to happen is it's going to transfer that design onto the back of the, or onto the wood slice. Geez, I'm having trouble speaking. So let me just do it. Let's just do it. You want to make sure that you cover all of the area, because if you don't, once you start tracing, you might end up missing a really important spot. And then to try to lay the image back down correctly so that you line up all of your lines is a challenge that I would prefer to avoid personally. I think I'm not sure if I got her ear very well. So yeah, this is Gingerbread Week, which means we are going to be making all of our projects gingerbread themed. So today we're doing this, my little gingerbread girly. And then I got to actually sharpen this because we are running glow. And then on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be making a gingerbread themed wreath, which I'm super excited about. Yeah. And then on Saturday afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be making 2 15-ounce Luxe candles. So they're big candles in amber jars, and they're going to be gingerbread themed. It's going to be so good. I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to this week since I planned out this series. All right. I mean, at this point, if I missed anything, I don't even know what to say. I basically doused this in chalk at this point. Okay, here we go. Oh, wait, before I do anything else, I want to light my candle because I always like to have a candle going when I'm dot painting because why not? I made this candle last week on Saturday, actually. It's a custom fragrance I made myself, and I call it Snowed In. Turns out this wick is a little too aggressive, and I've already started to get soot on the edge of my candle, but listen to the crackle. Can you hear the crackle? Cool, right? If you're interested in seeing the video of how I made that candle, Mary from the future is going to put it up in the corner over here. Okay, here we go. So let's transfer my friend over. How do I want this positioned? This is a little bit warped. I kind of like it like the way I have it. What do I think? Is this half, is this like the middle? I think I love it. And I love that she's on that one leg because she's going, hey, I'm a gingerbread girly. Okay, let's move on. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting pressure on all of the lines. So you don't need to use a dotting tool for this. You can use anything you want. You can even use a pen or a pencil. The actual lead or ink part, as well as the cap if you want, whatever you want. I just don't want to like trace over her face because it's so cute. So just keep in mind that you need to keep an eye on what you're doing. You don't want to forget anything. Like, let's say her little nose or her little pink cheeks. So cute. Oh, I missed that one a little bit. That's going to be messy. That's okay. Okay, I think I did the chin already, but we'll do it again just in case. So I'm pressing a little excessively because if you're new here, my name is Mary and I'm extra. So just to avoid having to come back and do this again, I'll press a little harder the first time around. Let me show you how it's going so far. Ready? Woo! That is going very well. Okay, I'm pressing really hard. You can see how white that is. Now, this image, the outline of it is what we really want. You can dress her however you want. Any colored dress, you can make it striped or whatever you want. But I like this design as is. So I'm going to basically just replicate it because I think it's super cute. This has like a two-tone in here, like a beige at the top, and then the bottoms are like white. So I'm just going to put a quick line around it because I do want to make that two-tone because I like it. Okay, did I do this side? I've done almost all of it at this point. I need legs. A little frosting. So cute. All right. I think we're good. I think I got it all. Let's check. I'm going to keep my hand on it so that... Oh, see, I missed this. We got everything. We've got the icing on each leg, arms. I think we're good. We're ready to party. We. Okay, I'm pleased. Let's get started. I am going to start with an overall outline. And I've kind of been debating if I want to use, because this is a black background, so it's not going to be super easy to see. And it is outlined in black, but I think I'm going to actually use a dark brown, which is going to make the outline subtle because you won't really see it against the black background, but it'll be good. I think it'll look nice. I'm going to start with my 1mm stylus, which is pretty fine. I always like to do my outlines in a fine dot. Kind of makes it look like more of a line. Now, if you are dotting along with me and you're using items from your home, I would recommend a toothpick. That's probably your best bet. Or if you have any of these awesome shish kebab skewers, I really enjoy them as well for a really pointed end. Or look for a really fine paintbrush tip, because paintbrushes come in so many different sizes. You can actually get some really nice sized ones for that. Okay, we're going to get started. Like I said, I'm going to just dot all the way around everything. So I'm going to start wherever, oh, on the wrong side, apparently. I want the finer side. Okay. I don't need you here. Get out of here, scram. So this color is called Burnt Umber. I picked it up from Dollarama. All of my paints today, with the exception of the base coat of the chalk paint, are acrylic deco art from Dollarama. I see the price has gone up to, I think they're like $2 a bottle now, but still a very economical choice and one I love to use. Oh, I made her leg a little warped. I don't mind. We'll curve it out a bit. So let's talk about being a beginner dot painter for a minute. If you're new to dot painting, you're definitely not going to be dotting as fast as I am right now. I don't consider myself an expert by any means. I would say I'm probably an experienced beginner. So I'm capable of doing faster dots because I've been doing this for quite a while. But when I first started dot painting, I was really, really slow, and you should be going slow. Always take your time, take breaths between each dot. It's not a race. All of these designs are beginner friendly because they're easy enough that you don't have to be so precise. I'm dotting close to each dot because I'm capable of it now. But if you're not, then give yourself a lot of space. You don't need to be on top of yourself. All those dots don't need to be that close. With time, you'll naturally get used to putting them a little bit closer. And that's why projects like these with these outlines are really useful, because it's a trait that you can practice. It's a skill that you can hone and get better at. It doesn't mean you're going to be perfect at it, but you can see. I don't know if you can see, actually. I hope you can see. But some of my dots have already gone rogue. They're not in a perfect row. Some of them are kind of like, hey, I want to be over here. So go over there. Have a good time. It's not worth being stressed out over. It's just art. Have fun. Enjoy it. And so practicing these kinds of skills on these kinds of projects is super fun to me, because I'm not really a big fan of practicing on like a practice paper. I like to practice by making stuff, because then you have something beautiful that you made with your own hands. And yeah, maybe it'll be sloppy and messy in the beginning because you're still getting the hang of it. So cool. You can look back on it. Imagine if you did this project right now for the first time, and then next year at Christmas time, you did it again. Imagine the difference you would experience if you continue dot painting throughout the entire year. It would be so cool to see the comparison from year to year. So take your time. Leave as much space as you want between dots. I'm actually a little too close on my dots over here, and I wouldn't be surprised if these two turned into a blob, because I'm going a little too fast. This is going to be so cute. She's a cutie. All right. I'm going to go this way. You know what? This brown is actually contrasted enough against the black that you can actually see it. So once I erase my chalk lines, it's going to look really good. So in terms of chalk lines, I like to use an eraser to take off my chalk lines. You can use a Q-tip, like a moist Q-tip. That would work as well. I don't find that it works as well. I definitely find that a regular eraser does a much better job. But I highly recommend that you wait at least 4 hours before you erase your chalk lines. I have erased my chalk lines prematurely on more than one occasion, and it did not end well. Actually, recently, I don't remember which live it was, but it was probably early and maybe around live number 5. I don't even know if I mentioned that. This is live number 22 of the Holiday How-To series. Santa Maria, that's a lot. 22. Anyway, around the 5th, I think it was, I dot painted an angel on a wood slice, which if I had it handy, I would show you because it came out so good. But what I did was at the end of that video, or near the end of it, I dot painted the angel, the halo on her. And then I totally forgot that I had done that. And I took my eraser and I erased it. So I was like, I'm going to take off my chalk lines. And I just erased the halo completely. Oh my God. If you could have seen my face, I was like, what did I just do? Like, really? What are you going to do? Life's hard. Not a big deal. I fixed it. If you're interested in seeing that video and you're watching the replay, Mary's going to put it up in the corner up here. Mary from the future. Because she's always got my back. All right. So now let's be realistic. I could have easily corrected this and not followed the wonky line. And I should have, but I didn't think of it. So I'm going to leave it. Does that mean you can't fix that? I could totally fix that. With a Q-tip, I could erase what I just did and fix it. But I'm not going to because I really enjoy imperfections in my dot art. I feel like that's what makes it special and unique and handmade, and particularly in this world of AI right now where everything is computer generated. Oh, did I just make a double blob? I think I did. I'm gonna have to fix this one. Okay, so you can see what I did was I put my Q-tip close to the blob, and then I do like a spinning motion with it to kind of grab the paint. I'm trying to not touch the dots beside it. And miraculously, I actually managed to avoid those ones. Sometimes when you've got dots so close to each other and you try to repair something, you can end up taking out way more. And which is one of the reasons why I tend to leave rogue dots. But this was not a rogue dot. This was 2 dots side by side that were so close to each other that they were about to blend into a blob, which perhaps at a different spot of this image, I wouldn't have minded as much, but you're going to really notice it on the bow. So it was worth the repair. That one was a little close too. All right. So you'll notice that I'm going back to my paint after every dot. And the reason for that is because I want my dots to be somewhat uniform, almost the same size, hopefully the same size, but let's be real, I'm not a perfectionist. Some are going to be a little bit bigger than others, but for the most part, I want them to be roughly the same size. And the only way to ensure that is to make sure that you have fresh paint on your stylus to help avoid getting smaller and smaller dots. Because if you dot more than once in a row, that's called walking the dots, and it will naturally cause your dots to get smaller and smaller because you're not replenishing the paint. So it's just giving you less and less and a smaller and smaller dot. There will be places where that's appropriate, and I use walk the dots technique often, practically in almost every dot painting piece I do, because I really enjoy that technique. But when you're wanting somewhat uniform sizes like this, you want to be going back to your paint after every single dot to just refill your stylus. All right. We are hopping. You also notice that I keep cleaning off my dotting tool and then maybe even wiping it off with my hand. This is because you don't want a pile up of paint on your dotting tool. That will increase the size of your dot. And since we were just talking about keeping our dots uniform, having a big pile up of paint and making my dots bigger is it's not where we're going. You know what I mean? Not the vibe we're trying to hit over here. So now the eyes of this drawing are black. But I'm thinking I'm going to do like a dark brown so that you can see contrast. I don't know. We'll see. Like this is a dark brown, but I'd actually make it darker. I'd mix some black into it and see what I think of that. I feel like that would be a good way to show that it's a dark eye, but you can't, you know, black background kind of makes it hard. I see a comment, but I'm wearing my old lady glasses and I can't see what that says. Hold on, let me check. Bear with me. What am I going to name the gingerbread woman? Well, that's a great question. I don't actually know what I'm going to name her. I don't know, but honestly, initially, the first thing that popped into my head when you asked me that is it's got to be Ginger. Ginger, the gingerbread girly. That's not very creative, is it? I don't know. Gina? I have a cousin named Gina. She's lovely. I hope she's doing well. G, if you can hear me, I hope you're doing well, honey. What else could we call her? Something gingerish. I think it's got to be Ginger. I mean... Okay, so you'll notice that I am already resting my hand on the dots that I've already painted because they are very, very dry at this point. Little dots like this tend to dry very quickly. It's the reason why I started my outline on the right side. It's because I'm right-handed. I tend to lean more this way. I find it easier. That's why I turn my projects to dot. A lot of people don't. They just leave it in the space that it is and they move their hand around. It's not that I'm not capable. I'm sure I could do it if I tried, but I don't want to. So I'm not going to do it. This is my preference, is to move it around to, you know. But just keep in mind, when you have these really small dots, they do dry quite quickly. But when you have the bigger, thicker dots, you have to be extremely cautious because they can definitely look dry, but not be dry. And if you rest your hand on it, you're going to cause chaos. Lord knows I've done that enough times. Whatever, you'll fix it. It's not a big deal. It's just paint. All right, we are doing great here. I'm not going to outline the white icing. I think I have to decide what I'm going to do. I think what I'm going to do is I'll do the white icing next. Yeah, I think so. This paint is getting a little bit thick because it's been sitting for a few minutes now in the open air. So I'm going to give it a bit of a stir just to, you know, when it starts to get that little bit of film on the top, it's icky. It's icky. So I really love doing projects like this because they're a lot of fun. They're so customizable. Any image you want, you can do in this style. I've done so many cool projects using this transfer technique. Like, I'm a big Harry Potter fan. Not the author, but the series. And I love, love, love their stuff. And I made a Hedwig dot painted rock for Harry Potter's birthday a couple of years ago. Mary from the future will put that up in the top right corner if you're interested in watching that tutorial. And I I made that. Oh my God, I made so many cool things using this technique. It's so great. I highly recommend. 5 stars. And I just love that you can customize this in a million different ways. You don't like the colors, change the colors. You don't want a background, don't put a background. You want to paint straight onto the wood, go for it. Whatever blows your hair back. And I think this wood slice, I think I said it was $2. It was on the tag. And I mean, we're using a negligible amount. Well, that word was hard. Negligible amount of paint of each color. But I mean, you're going to need to have a few of them for a project like this. But a great investment. $2 for a bottle of paint will last you, oh my God, so many projects. So totally worth it if you think you're going to be doing any kind of crafting that would require acrylic paint. I highly recommend picking up at least some staples from Dollarama, because then you can blend and mix things and stuff if you don't want to buy a lot of colors. But super cost-effective project. Like $2 for the wood slice. I don't know how much you would save for the paint, but easily this project is under $10, probably under $5. But if you have to fill in your paint, like I said, you don't even need to pay for the dotting tools. You can use toothpicks and tops of paintbrushes, top of an eraser on a pencil. Last time I used a glue stick for the center dot. It was great. It worked really well. I'll totally do that again. All right. We are almost done. Now I'm going to have to decide if I want to. That's good. I don't need another dot there. Okay. I know I don't want to outline the white. I'm just going to put it in. But I feel like I want an outline around like the little neck bib thing and the skirt. And also the dot, like the buttons. Yeah. So let's go ahead and continue dotting those. I just realized I only colored in one of her eyeballs. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. It's like you're wearing sunglasses, but only one eye. Sorry, girlfriend. I'm going to put a little bit more in here. Okay, so let's do, oh, and the eyebrows too. Because again, I'm using this dark brown in place of black. What did I dot last? I honestly lost track. I think it was around here. So I got to be careful where I rest my hand. So I'm going to try to actually make sure I'm always on a spot that is not dotted, because I don't remember where I stopped now. I wasn't paying attention. So speaking of resting your hand, there are lots of dot paint artists on YouTube that are phenomenal. Highly recommend you have a look around, especially if you're trying to increase your experience. There's a lot of really skilled dot artists out there. But they are really good. Some, I guess some people aren't as good as others, of like hovering their hand when they're dotting and not resting it down. Yeah, my hands are too weak for that. I can't do that. So I'm always resting my hand somewhere. And generally speaking, I start by leading with my pinky. You'll see, I don't really show it too much, but I'm always leading with my pinky, and I rest my pinky first and then my hand, because that pinky really gives you like stability to move in any direction without worrying about having a shaky hand and then maybe misstepping in where you place your dot. So give it a whirl, see if it works for you. It's definitely something I have been doing consistently for several years, and I find it very effective. Okay, so let's do eyebrows. I'm not going to do that line because I just want it to be subtle, because the top half of this line is like a beige and then the bottom is white. So I don't want to break it up with this brown in the middle. So let's do the eyebrow. Oh no, I made a blob. Too close. Oh, hey, chill, bro. Too close. It might have been okay because this paint is not very runny, which is great. But I just started it. It was an easy thing to repair, so why not? There was a little string from the Q-tip there. One more. Okay, now you're going to be curved a little bit. Wonderful. Now let's do, shoot, I want to darken it to do the eyes, like I said. I don't know what I want to do about the mouth because I feel like I don't know that I want to make it exactly the same as the eyebrow. So I think I'm going to leave that and darken this up first. And we're going to do it like black. Okay, so I'm going to leave the lips and do I want to leave the outline around the nose? No, we'll do the outline around the nose and the brown. So let's do that real quick. This is such a cute little nose. It's gingerbread week. I have to make some gingerbread cookies or I have to buy one or something. Like it's like, I'm actually kind of annoyed that I didn't think to bring one here to eat right now. All right, one more. Beautiful. Oh, so cute. Okay. All right, let's think. So those are going to be dark, like the eyebrows are going to be a dark brown black. The lips are going to be the same color. That's cheeks, and I don't want that to be outlined. We're just going to do pink dots there. Those are going to be beige. That's going to be white. This is going to be white in here. Oh, I need to dot this line, and I need to dot around the buttons. Let's do the buttons first. Beautiful. Let's see if I can make that a little bit more round. It got a little warped in the transfer. All right. Now we're going to do that line. I wonder if you can hear the crackling of the wood wick in my candle. Because to me, it sounds really loud. But it's also right here. And I seriously overwicked it. It is like a flamethrower. I'm going to have to make another candle in this kind of jar again and go down one size in the wick. Yeah. Live and learn, experiment. It's always fun to try new things. All right. That worked out perfectly. All right. She's looking fine. We are going to, I think I'm going to do the black now, but first let me get a little sip of water. Never forget to hydrate, friends. It's muy importante. Okay, so I am going to mix some black into this brown because I'm not going to need this brown again, I don't think. And we're going to darken this up. Let's see. Oh boy, that's a lot of black. Come on, brown. No, you're not interested, huh? I put too much black in here. Clearly, I might need to try this in a different spot because it's going to be too much now. It's going to overflow in my palette over here. Yeah, no, you're way too black. All right, how am I going to fix this? I'm going to scoop you. Let's scoop. We're going to scoop. We're going to scoop. Okay. Now, brown. All right, that's better. Now you can see a bit of brown in it. Ultimately, I'm just trying to not make it be like straight black so that you can actually see a little bit of contrast, but you get the gist of it being a black pair of eyes. You know what I mean? Okay. Now I could dot around it and then dot inside of it, but I feel like that'd be really messy. So instead we're going to use, this is not big enough. We are going to use, I'm thinking probably a number 4 or number 5 would be good. Number 4, you can see the size of that. A little bit bigger. So maybe we'll do 4.5 if I can find it. I picked up these dotting tools, these ones that I'm holding in my hand, these rods, from the Happy Dotting Company. I think she's based out of the UK. Her name is Angela. She's very lovely. I've picked up a few things from her over the years, including the molds that I use to make my art stones and stuff. I think she even sells on Amazon now. I'm not sure. But I highly recommend checking them out if you're interested in either making your own art stones or getting these dotting tools. But like I said, I think they could be on Amazon as well. Okay, 4.5. That'll do very well. So let's go ahead. That's a great size. That worked out very well. What is that, 4.5? Yeah, very good. I don't know if you can see that as well as I can see it. I hope so. I tried to make sure the lighting wasn't too cray-cray so you could actually see. But there's going to be a lot more contrast once we start filling in the face and the actual gingerbready part. So I'm not worried about it. You'll definitely see it. The nose is like the same kind of red. So I'm going to leave that. We're going to fill that in a minute. I'm going to leave I think we're just going to do the lips now, like the mouth. And I'm going to do a little bit of a bigger size. So the outline has been done in this 1 millimeter, but if you flip it over, this is slightly bigger. It's kind of like 1.25. I think they're all the same on the top. So I'm just going to use a tiny bit of a bigger dot for this to make sure she's looking all cute. Get her lips done. Honestly, I debated if I was going to make her mouth red. You know, does she like her gloss? I don't know. I think so. Who doesn't like a little bit of lip gloss? You're looking pretty, my girl. All right, let's move on. What are we going to do next? I kind of think I want to do the cheeks and the nose. No, let's do the cheeks and then we'll go and do the frosting. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Okay. So for the cheeks, we're going to do Tutti Frutti pink and a little bit of white because this pink is seriously pink. It's like pink. And we saw the chaos that was brown black. So let's try to be more conservative over here. I'm going to start with white. And we're just going to add a little bit of pink. Much more white than I needed, just in case anybody was wondering. Ooh, you're messy. Oh no, I think that was like a piece of crap that came out of there. You know when they get like crust inside? Yeah, see? Ma, get out of here. Scram, lady. Oh, had a spaz. See, that was the perfect amount of pink. Geez, if I did any more, it would have been... I actually think I might need to add a little bit of white to this. This might be a little too pink now. Go figure. And look at the chunk I took out. Yeah, I think I'm going to put a drop of white in there. Because I don't want it to be like a bright pink. Just a little flush cheek. Look what I did to my fingers now. It's very important, at least to me. So here is a tip from me to you. Always be aware of what paint you have on your hands, because it is incredibly easy to accidentally put paint on something in a spot you don't want it. And then that'll be a major pain to have to fix. So be proactive. A little bit of white came out in this one too, a little chunk. Guys, don't be so difficult. Okay, that's good. Once we're done a full mix, this is going to be the perfect pink. Oh my God, you're such a pretty pink, actually. I'm going to totally do my nails this color next. Mary loves her pink, ladies and gentlemen. I sure do. I even made a really cute candle with a pink Christmas tree on it this year. Oh my God, it came out so cute. You should totally watch that video. Oh, Mary from the future, up here, please. All right, now, I want this to be just one big dot for her cheek, like we did for the eyes. So we did 4.5 for the eyes. I'm thinking 5. No, that's too small, 5. So we need to go, let's go up to what? Well, 7 seems too big. Why is this always such a mission? Okay, here, 6. 6 is what I would like. You see that? It's quite large. Now, I don't know if you can see around my dotting tool when I do this, but can you see that the actual circle that I'm trying to fill of the cheek is sufficiently bigger than the dotting tool I'm selecting? Okay, you can see that from both of them. And that's because you're going to compensate for that size with the amount of paint that you have on your dotting tool. So if you put a dotting tool that is the exact size of the dot you want to achieve, you'll actually end up making it bigger than you were intending. And I definitely want it to stay the right size. So I'm going to size down on my dotting tool and make sure I get a good amount of paint on it. Okay, we're going to start with this one. There you go. You see what I mean? Now it fills that circle beautifully. Whereas if I had gone up a size, my paint would have overshot that. Beautiful. Look at you with that pink cheek. Looking so cute. All right. So let's go ahead and move on. I made so much pink for literally 2 dots, but whatever. We're going to go ahead and do our white now. So I'm going to do the frosting, and then we'll do the base of the little bib and the trim of her dress. And these are slightly different techniques that we're going to be using for this. So right now, because we're going to be making the entire swish of frosting, I'm not going to outline it and fill it in. I'm going to make a bigger dot to fill that out. So what I mean by that is I'm going to use my 3mm rod, and you can see it's got a bigger end on the bottom. And rather than try to make a bunch of tiny dots, I'm going to make some bigger dots, and that's going to be my squiggle of frosting. So here's, let me show you. See? Now I kind of blocked the dots there, but the reason I did that is because this is actually a bit of a big tool. The 3mm is too big. It would actually be better if I sized down. And because I noticed it as soon as I started to dot, I actually held back and didn't place the dotting tool directly down, making a bigger, fuller dot. I kind of held it back so only a little bit of the paint went onto the actual surface. So I was using the 3mm. I'm actually going to drop down to the 2mm instead of the 2.5, which is this pink one here. And we're going to do another frosting squiggle over here. Yeah, definitely the right call. All right. Do I want to go down one more? No. Beautiful. Now for the bib though, I definitely don't want this big dotting tool. We're going to actually do really small dots inside of this bib, or else there's not going to be any way to really show that white. So I'm going to go and use this 1mm again. And again, if you're using non-traditional dotting tools at home, a good option for this would be a toothpick. They're pretty similar in size. Or a shish kebab skewer is also really good for the same thing. So those are a couple of options. So we want it to be just the bottom half here. So I'm actually going to dot right along this line. Okay, I got to keep my eye on where I've been painting, because I'm kind of all over this image today with the different colors, and it's easy to forget what you painted last and then touch something you shouldn't. But I think we're doing pretty good because this outline is totally dry now. Okay, so you'll notice that I'm just putting dots anywhere because I'm just trying to make you want to make it look white, but you want that little bit of the black background to come out as well. In the end, all of these dots together are going to form the image that we're going for. So I'm going to let those dots dry up a little bit, and then I may go in with a few smaller white dots as well, using the smallest dotting tool that I have, which is this 0.8mm, which is super fine. And it's what I'm going to actually use to fill in. Actually, no, I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to fill this in with just one white dot in the center. So I'm going to use my 3mm for that. Oh, that's going to be too big. I can tell when I saw the paint on it. Let's go down to the 2mm instead. That's great. I don't really want it to touch the outline we made, but I want it to be close. That looks great. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to now move on to filling in this area. And this is where I'm going to show you the general technique that I use when I'm doing these. Obviously, we've done a lot of outlines and we're looking at specific size dots for specific purposes here, like the eyes and the nose and the cheeks. But generally, when I'm filling something in, I use a really simple technique, which is walking the dots, but not in a straight line. I walk the dots in a random path. What I mean by that is I'll place my first dot and then move somewhere else and then somewhere else and then somewhere else and back again. And here we come. And it's just all over the place. And now you've got a whole bunch of different size dots in different places. And it gives a lot of contrast and depth and texture. And it looks super cute on top of that. But you definitely need to be conscious of where you're placing things. I don't have any more room for this big dot anymore. So we're going to move to, I think I'm actually going to go down to that 1 millimeter again and fill in a couple of these spots. Because we are going to ultimately go in with that 0.8 millimeter yellow stylus, the smallest one that I have. That's what we use to fill in everything in the end. And that's what really finishes off with a bit of polish and completing each of these sections so that it doesn't just look like random dots. It now actually looks like a white trim on her dress. I don't know if you noticed, I just covered a dot with a dot, and that's because it was a wonky dot. It wasn't quite round. So I covered it with a bigger dot, which is an easy way to fix a rogue dot. Okay, so we're going to go back to that 0.8 millimeter. And I'm actually going to let this part, this band here, dry a little bit. I'm going to go back up here and add those extra dots in that I told you about that I wanted to complete this white look. And to help me avoid touching that, we'll turn this around a little bit. These are the tiniest dots you ever did see, which is why I love this tool. Toothpicks work really well for this as well. All right. I don't think I could fit another dot. Yes, I can, see? All right, I'm pleased with that. That looks nice and white to me. So let's go ahead and do the bottom trim again. How you doing? Yeah, it's dry enough. The reason I'm waiting in between is because once you start putting these really teeny tiny dots in, it is very easy to accidentally touch dots you've already done. You'll notice that when I'm trying to be precise, I zip it. No more yapping out of this girl because it could shake my hand. And I definitely don't want to touch a dot that's already wet. Overlapping a dot that's dry is not a big deal. It's not ideal, but it's fine. But you don't want a dot on top of a wet dot because then you could end up with a blob. But I mean, if blobs are your thing, go for it. I'm not a big fan of the blob. Do you see the difference between this half that I've filled in and this half that hasn't been filled in yet? That's what I mean by that. It's not like you're going to get this solid white. I don't want solid white. If I was going to do solid white, I would use a paintbrush. You want the dots, but you wanted to give the illusion so that you get a sense of, oh yeah, that's the trim on her little dress. Yes, it is. She's going to look so pretty. I feel like she's going to go dancing. The position that she's in is kind of like She's got like jazz hands going on. Ginger with the jazz hands. Oh, I see another comment. Hold on, let me switch my glasses because I can't see. Gina Gingerbread. Yeah, that's cute, right? Gina the Gingerbread. I love it. All right. We are almost done her little trim. Okay, let me see. Are there any other places I can put a dot in here? Am I missing any spots? Okay, since I'm trying to fill in a really, really small spot at this point, I'm just going to barely touch my dotting tool to the paint. Just the tiniest bit of paint is on my dotting tool right now to get a really tiny dot and fill in the smallest of gaps here. Now, if you don't have the ability to do that, it's not a problem. It's definitely something you can practice. What I would recommend doing is feeling happy with using your paint palette as a place to lay extra dots you don't need. So what I mean by that is this. If you want a dot that is quite small and you won't be able to achieve that from just dipping into the paint, what you'll do is dip into the paint and then dip on your palette, and keep going until you get close to the size you want. So you know it's 2 dots, great. Now you do 1 here and 2 here. And that's how you get down to a smaller dot. This is why my palette is full of crap. And also look what I do when I'm mixing paint. So if you can get right with that and be okay with having, you know, random rogue dots on your paint palette, then that's an easy way to get down to those really, really small dots. Okay, I don't really see any gaps I want to fill. I feel like we're good. Yeah, okay. So I would say we're done with the white right now. I might need to mix it into something, but for now we're done that. So now let's go. Should we do her dress or should we do her face and body? I think we're going to do her dress last, and let's do her face and body. Now, I have 2 options here. This color, I feel like, is probably the closest to what I consider gingerbread. I might darken it a tiny bit, but I don't know. What do you think? Do you like this color? It's called Cashmere Tan, and this is actually a paint that I did not get from Dollarama. It's the only one of these. Well, actually the beige as well. Both of these are from Dollar Tree. Not as big of a fan of these in terms of the texture as I am of the Deco Art from Dollarama, but whatever. Different colors though. They don't have a color like this from the Deco Art, not a Dollarama that I saw. So I think I am going to use this. Oh, something fell on my... I must have had something stuck to the bottom of that. Okay. It's a little bit light. Shall I drop a little bit of dark umber in there and see what we can do? Literally a drop, Mary. 1 drop. Boop. That's it. See? I swear. I stuck to it. Because I don't want it to get really, really dark. Let's see what that does. That's not bad. I'm realizing now that I should have actually done this in a little paint pod because I'm going to be needing more of this than any other color, but that's okay. Okay, we're going to start by, so the dress is here. It's like a little tank top dress. So I'm going to actually use red to fill out her dress. So we'll go into her hand first, I think. So I'm going to always start with big dots and then we'll always go back and fill in as we did here. So I'll start with my 3mm big dotting tool and we'll do a few big ones in here. That's good. I can maybe fit one more big one. No, that's getting shady. Let's not do that. Okay, so that's one. Now we can do her leg. Why did you come out warped? What's wrong with you? There was one of those pieces of like, it made my dot warped. I'm going to fix it. So there's like a little piece of crusty paint in there, and it turned this into a warped dot, but it's okay. We fix. Okay, that's red, so don't do that. Very good. All right, now legs are done, arms are done. Well, not done, but I mean the preliminary dots are done. I'm going to start on the face. Okay, let's go. We're running low on the brown already. See, it would have been better if I did it in a paint pot. That's okay. I'll just mix a little bit more. I really don't mind if it's a little bit of a different brown the next time around. It's just going to add a little bit more depth anyway. Oh, I almost dotted on her eyeball. This one's awkward. That's good. I want to do big ones around her eyes. Okay. I'm going to let this dry a little bit. And then we're going to go and start filling all this in. Because right now it just looks like she has a bad case of chicken pox. But don't worry, it's going to be fine. It's going to be great. So we're going to let those dry for a bit. And I'm going to move on to her dress, her bow, and her little red nose. So for this, I'm going to be using Christmas Red. Again, Deco Art from Dollarama. And a little sip of water. Because dehydrated Mary is grumpy Mary. And nobody likes her. Okay, so I think I'm going to start by putting her little nose in. And I think this 3 millimeter should be the perfect size. So do want... Here we go. So cute. All right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do the bow, I think, first. Oh, shoot. You see what happened there? a little string. So there must have been like a hair or something, and it pulled the dot. Now, luckily, I'm in an area that there's no dots around. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe this up. This, again, is the reason why I always recommend sealing your base coat with varnish, because it makes the cleanup so much easier. It really does. It makes a huge difference. Okay. All right, let's go do your dress now. Now, to do the actual like edges of the dress, I think I'm gonna use the white millimeter, the 1 millimeter, sorry, to do kind of like a sleeve. All right, very cute. Now let's go ahead and start dotting in with our big dotting tool, the 3 millimeter. I try not to go any bigger than that when I'm filling in something. This red is a little stringy tonight. I got to be careful that I don't do what I did earlier, pulling some of that string across and then I have to fix it. I'm not a big fan of fixing mistakes. If possible, I like to leave them in if they're not too glaringly obvious. There's a difference between adding a little charm and making it look like you don't care, you know? So you're starting to really see the form now, but it's really going to come together when we start going in with that small dotting tool and filling in all of the gaps that are left behind. All right. I don't know. Do I want to put a big one there? I don't think so. I think I want to put a little one. Okay. I don't want to put any other big dots in. Well, wait, I see one that I actually do want to put. The rest I'd like to leave for smaller dots to fill in to give a little bit more variety. All right, so we are good for red for right now. We're going to pause on red. We'll come back to that. I want to fill in the brown. And I'm thinking I'm going to, we're going to just stick with what we got. So I'm going to add some more of this cashmere tan. And we'll add a drop of burnt umber. It was a bubble. Little bubble. I have paint on my hands again. See? It's time to bust out the second rag. The first one's too covered in paint now. Okay. I'm going to use my big dotting tool to stir this because it feels easier. That's good. I feel like it's about the same as it was. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with this. I think that's good. Okay, so I'm going to start with this 1 millimeter dotting tool to fill in because it'll already start with a very small dot and then I can make it even more of a fill in that way. Okay. So this is like the medium dot when you're filling in. I'm going to go back with the smallest dotting tool I have, which is the 0.8 millimeter. I've got a lot of paint on this dotting tool right now. Look at how much better that already looks. Now you can start to see the form more. So like I said, I really enjoy directing beginners to do projects like this because this is a really great way to practice a number of techniques while at the same time making something really cute and festive and fun. And it's like a fun night. I mean, for me, this is a good time. So you really get to build your skill set, but at the same time, you've got this really cute project. Okay, we're already too far with this one. I'm going to wait and come back with my little dot. No, don't do it. You're going to regret it. Okay. All right. What do you guys think? The face is going to be the challenge. The lips are really, really dark, and I don't know if you can really see it. I might end up dotting over it with something. I'm not sure what yet. We'll see. It might not be needed. Once I have all these other dots in place, you might really be able to see the lips. Or it's not quite a lip. There's no lip. The line that is their mouth. She doesn't really have plump lips, my girl. That's okay. You're still so pretty. All right. Beautiful. Okay, it's time to do the face. Same deal here, except I'm going to be a little bit more conservative because I definitely don't want to have an overlap because I'm not paying attention. This area is going to be a challenge. I'm going to stay away from there until I have my really small dotting tool. I'll end up doing something I regret. Okay. Yeah, now you can really start to see the outline of the face a little bit more, right? I'm going to turn this because I'm a little concerned I'm going to start resting my hand places I shouldn't. Okay, I think I'm done with the size tool for everything except red. So let's go ahead and do some red now. We'll let that brown dry a little bit, and then we'll go back in with the really, really small tool. Okay. How's my red? Are you crusty now? Have you built a film? Yeah, you're all right. That'll do. It'll do just fine. Okay. Let's use... Up here, I think I'm just going to stick with the really, really small tool. So let's do the dress. And I'll start with this 1 millimeter, but I think I'm going to quickly switch over to the 0.8 because it's already pretty full from the big dots. And once this starts getting paint accumulating on my dotting tool, these dots will start getting bigger. I really enjoy dot painting on these wood slices. I just really love the look of them. This little rustic trim around, like a live edge, I guess it's called. I love that look so much. It's so cute and rustic and still cozy and modern all at the same time. And these are really great because you can just prop them up. You can put it up on a mantle, or you can, put on a bookshelf or something. Or if you have one of those little stands, you can basically put them anywhere. You can tuck it into a Christmas tree. They're so cute. So in retrospect, if I were doing this, if I was starting from the beginning again, I think I would have ignored the outline around the buttons and the nose. I think I would have just left them and put just the dot of the dots. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's still fine, but I feel like that was a bit of a wasted effort because you don't really see it. It doesn't really offer that much contrast for it to be worth the effort. Oh, I made a blob dot. I can't get that cleaned off. You see that dot right there? That's two dots that have merged together. It's the first one that got by me. And I'm not going to try to clean it up because that will endanger all of the dots in this area. If it bugs you that much, you can totally go for it, but I don't care. I have done this before and it has always ended in regret because I end up messing up way more dots. And in the end, 99% of the time, the only person who's going to see the big dot is me. I mean, I just made a big production about it to you, but I promise if you look at this later, you won't notice it. Probably not. And the truth is, if you do notice it in the future and you're like, oh my God, you have a blob dot there, I'll be like, great. You notice something really specific. It's very unique and different, right? Cool. Gina, you're looking so good, girlfriend. Every woman needs a good red dress, just like you need a nice black dress. Especially as you get older. Good Lord. We are doing really well here. I think I'm going to stop with this tool now. We're headed into it needs smaller territory. What do you think? Pretty good, right? And we haven't even done the final touches yet. Oh, you know what I just realized? I haven't done this part of the lapel of her dress yet. Well, I'm going to use warm beige for that. Because I don't know if you can see that in the screen, but it's like a beigey color. And then the bottoms are tipped in white. And I like that contrast. So we're going to do just a wee bit. And I'm going to use my smallest dotting tool for this. This is, we're not going to mess around because it's a really small spot. I feel like I have a chunk in here. Have I managed to pour one bit of paint that didn't have a chunk in it? I don't think so. I think they've all had a little. Oh, well. Beautiful. One little dot right here. All right. You're done. Beautiful. Now let's come back to the brown. I'm gonna start down here. And we're gonna fill in now with this little daughter. Okay. I would say that this little leg is done. And then she puts like 17 more dots after she says that. I know. I'm sorry. I can't help it. Oh, right there. All right. Now I'm done that leg. Let's do the arm. You know what? This actually has a bit of crust in it or something. I'm noticing little pieces in my dots. I don't like it. Okay. All right. I see a couple spots that could use a little bit more. Beautiful. Oh, I'm like destroying this chunk. All right. What are we in here? We are about an hour and a half in, and we're almost done. I'd say maybe, I'm not even going to give an estimate of time because I suck at that when it comes to crafting. I've got too much paint on my dotting tool and my dots are getting thicker and thicker. Oh, I almost put it in the red. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see the lips, I don't think. Not sure what I want to do about that. Okay. I'm going to have a quick look, but I don't really see anywhere else I want to fill in. Yeah, you can't really see the mouth. I'm going to do something about that, but I haven't decided what yet. I'm going to think on it because the beige is a little too bright of a color. And then it would be like a white mouth. Unless I made it this pink. Or do I do the red to match the nose and the dress? Maybe a little bit of a darker pink. Okay. Let's move on. I'll come back to that later. I'm going to finish the arm and the leg, and then we'll do the bow and fill in a little bit more of the dress, and then we can make a decision on the lips. And then this lady will be ready to party. Okay. I'd say you are good. Oh, hi, Anna. I would love to. Thank you for your vote. We're going to definitely make it pink. Let's see. I literally have to switch my glasses to look at the comments on the screen because I'm wearing these, you know, those glasses you get from Dollarama to like read? They are so useful for this kind of thing because you can get almost like a magnifying glass kind of, but then it makes my eyes super blurry. Okay. All right. I see two little spots I want to fill. Beautiful. All right. Let's go back to the red. Clean hands. Very good. I'm going to go up and do the bow first because then if we want to come back and fill in anything, it'll have time to dry while I'm working on the dress. Now, of course, you don't need to do all of these really tiny dots to fill in. You could totally just leave the big dots in place and go about your life if you like that look. It definitely gives you a better gist if you fill it in, but it doesn't mean you have to. I just happen to like the way it looks. And again, I feel like this is just such a great way to practice, like placing dots near each other, what to do when you accidentally turn something into a blob. Do you want to do anything about it? It's a great way to kind of get that skill honed in a little bit more, and also to build your confidence a little bit. Mm-hmm. If you guys could see my candle over here, there's no way for me to show you this because if I bring it back on the screen, it's just gonna look like a ball of light. But the flame that's on this thing is insanity. You think I put a torch instead of a wick in there? Well, it goes to show you sometimes the combination, it's not just the wick that's the issue, right? Could be the wax, could be the fragrance, could be the combination of all together. I'm going to definitely wick down the next time I use that jar, that's for sure. All right, we are doing really good here. Okay, I feel like that's really well filled in. I don't even know if I'd fill anything else in on that. I'll let it dry and see, but I feel like that bow is really good. So I'm going to leave that, I think. Let's fill in the dress a little bit, and then we'll put on her lipstick. A little bit of gloss for Gina, the gingerbread lady. The gingerbread girly. There's not a lot of places to dot here. I'm really just filling in anything where I see a little bit of black, but we're already in a pretty good state for this, for her cute little outfit. Shoot, girl, you look so cute. All right, guys, we're in the home stretch over here. A few more red dots, and then we're off to lip gloss land. Let's see. Are there any spots yelling? Give me a dot. You? Okay, sorry, here. Anybody else? Okay. Okay. All right, girl. It's time to put on your gloss. I'm going to make it a tiny bit pinker than the cheeks because, you know, contrast. Plus, this pink has been sitting here for some time, so a little... I might actually need to make a new pink because it's a little too crusty for my taste. It's only a few dots, so let's see if we can make it work. Man, I haven't made my paint palette this gross in a long time. Oh, well. I still want it a little bit pinker than this. All right, there we go. Just to have it be a little bit different than the cheeks. Not much, but a bit. Okay, we are going to actually use the smallest dotting tool for this. Mostly since I'm basically going to dot back over something I've already dotted, which it's not a big deal. I have to say, I don't think I've ever really done this before. Like dotting over something I already dotted because I don't like the color. This is probably a first. Yeah, worth it, right? Looks cute, doesn't it? Yeah, that looks great. I also am debating if I want to try. Do we want to make the eyes darker? Or is that good the way it is? I think it's fine. What do you guys think? Is she pretty? Oh, look, I'm seeing some more comments here. Let's see. Thank you, Anna. Well, I consider this pretty lady pretty much done. Now, at this point, what I would recommend is you want to let this dry really, really well. And then use an eraser to erase the chalk lines, literally an eraser, like old school. And then you would erase all of the chalk lines. And once that's done, I would highly recommend finishing it off with a coat of varnish. This is my preferred varnish, Liquitex, but there are a ton of different varnishes that you can get at most of your major craft stores, and Amazon is also a great place to check out for things like this. So I would highly recommend doing thin layers, multiple layers, like maybe 2 or 3 layers of a thin coat, which I will definitely do once my lady has completely dried, because I don't want to accidentally erase anything. But I'm very pleased with the way this turned out. I hope you enjoyed dotting with me tonight. This was a lot of fun for me, and definitely something I'm going to be doing again. I dot paint every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, all beginner-friendly projects, and I will show you alternatives that you can use if you don't have dotting tools. And we're just going to have a lot of fun making a bunch of beautiful stuff. Now, I also do a lot of other things on this channel. So if you're interested in learning a little bit about wreath making, I make wreaths live every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this week, we're going to be making a gingerbread man themed wreath because it's gingerbread week. And then on Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be pouring a big 14-inch gingerbread themed candle. I'm super duper excited. It's going to be so much fun. So I hope you join me. And if you're interested in learning a little bit more about dot painting, I have a ton of videos on my channel that are beginner friendly, that are in this format live, but also I have a number that are edited. So they're about 10 to 15 minutes in length, if that's more your cup of tea. So definitely check them out. And don't forget to subscribe so that we can continue to get crafty together. Toodaloo.